Insight.
Artist Insight.
Yeah.
An insight with an artist.
Artist Insight with an artist.
We want to go in depth.
My name is
James.
James.
We want to know what's up. Your humble hope. My name is James.
Artist insight of an artist. Let's trace itself, go in depth where it started. Moms play blues, pops play jazz. I sang in the choir, discovered your craft. You heard Rakim, or was it Lil Wayne? Deftones, what sparked your flames? Piano lessons, bass and guitar. You loved English in school, now you got bars. You used to DJ, but now you produce tracks. Some suckers whack, how you feel about that? Artist insight was simply designed. We wanna know what's on your mind.
Come on.
Anyway.
Yeah, talk.
It's an interview for you. Tell us something new. You know?
Talk to us.
Inside of an artist. Artist Insight. Talk to us. Talk back. Artiste. Let's go.
Hey, what's happening out there? This is F.U.L.Podcast, and this is Cornelius James, and this is Interview with an Artist, Artist Insight. That's what we call the show. And today we are interviewing Stephen Laws. Let me say that all over. Stephen Laws, the Imperator, the West Coast legend himself, better known as IMP. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, bro. How you doing today?
Good. Listen, man, I said a little bit about you, and you are a West Coast legend. Can you tell us a little bit about you, Father? First of all, married, kids, tell about your family life.
Family life is, I got kids. I got an ex. I ain't got a wife. I got an ex, but we're still cool. I got, kids, They grown, they doing it to college. I got one kid at real estate. I got a little difficulty right now with one of my daughters. She's going through some mental sickness right now, some mental illness. So that's something that's real that's going on in my life right now, and the weird thing about it, actually I wrote an album some years ago called Suicide Note, and a lot of the stuff that I had wrote in there, I kind of can see how that can apply to some of the stuff I'm actually going through now. When I wrote it, I researched a lot of the stuff, but I had, I just saw so much crazy stuff going on out here that I decided to, I'm a rapper, man. I mean, I'm inspired. Something I see it's wrong, I'm going to write about it. If I like it, I'm going to write about it. So it's quick for me to write about stuff. But back to your question you asked, I got a family, and I think all families going to go through some type of trial or tribulation at one point or another. And, so yeah, I do have a family.
Well, first of all, we really appreciate you for keeping it 1,000 on that subject matter. And to be honest with you, one of my sons actually had, experienced some mental health issues, lightweight breakdown, but that awareness needs to be brought up. I mean, it happens to us, and none of us do therapy or nothing like that, so I appreciate you being, giving, and giving us some insight even to that, because now that it made it easy for me to bring it up, and my son's fine now, he's been diagnosed what the situation is and been on some meds, and he's better now. But I appreciate that. That was good, man. We really appreciate that. Now, let's move on, and let me ask you, where did you grow up?
I grew up, if you want to say age-wise, but for the most part, I grew up in New York, in Harlem, in the Bronx. I was a runaway from the Bronx to Baltimore at age 12, and I moved to California in Los Angeles when I was 12 years old. I would bounce back every now and then, but I've pretty much been out in California since I've been 12 years old. So I grew up in South Central LA, East Baltimore, Harlem, and the Bronx in New York.
So what do you remember from, Harlem?
Harlem, I remember eating ices on the summer nights, playing with the fire hydrant. When it's hot outside, we get under the, we can go to the pool, but we squirt the fire, break the fire hydrant open and squirt the water on you, cool you off, eating ices, playing skillet, skelly in the street, little gang we used to play, shooting out tops in the street. The schools, that's some of the good stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff too, but that's the subways, riding the subways, the weather, it stays humid out there when it get real hot out there. So, that's some of the stuff I remember about Harlem and the Bronx.
Harlem and the Bronx. See, now, you know, West Coast guy, so yeah, I like to know. Let's move on to, would you say,
Baltimore?
Baltimore. What about Baltimore? What do you remember about that?
That used to be called Charm City before the big crack epidemic hit it. And, so it was just fun. It was just great. It was just, Baltimore was...
It used to be called what?
It's called Baltimore Charm City.
Charm?
Yeah, Charm, like a charm pop.
Yeah, you know what? That's that East Coast accent coming out of you, man. That's why it's Charm. Charm. Okay, I got you. So,
yeah, and then
so tell me
now they call it Murderland. You know, the crack hit and everything. So it's just like, you know, I sent that song, Hear My Story, and it's like, you know, that's some real stuff. I went through a lot of stuff. Everybody goes through shit, but I just went through a lot of stuff, and I'm glad that I'm who I am, and I didn't break down or go crazy or do something stupid and end up dead or in jail, you know. So that was my you know, my Baltimore experience. It was, you know, ups and downs, you know, and next stop was Los Angeles. You know,
now,
so and
I got a clue how that was, but you know, explain to the F.U.L. fans how was your LA experience, you know?
LA was, when I came to LA, you know, my experience with LA was, it was hella cool. It was hella different, you know what I'm saying, with the low riders, the brothers with the jerry curls and the perms. That took me a minute to get used to that. So I was, you know, I remember when I first came out here, I was tripping on the brothers with the jerry curls and the perms because I wasn't used to that. And I thought the guy next door to me was gay or something. But to find out he's one of the toughest dudes around, you know. He had that perm, you know. So I learned a lot of yeah. I went to Lewis Pasteur, I went to Manuart, those were schools I went to. I went to Fairfax for one day. You know, I didn't go there too. I went for one day. I went to Manu though. I grew up off of King of Normandy, then I used to live on the west side on Garth Avenue. I don't know if you remember about La Cienega and Sawyer, where that Bob Big Boy used to be at.
Hey, let me take you back, Em. So you was by King and Normandy. You was by that El Rey's, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I used to eat it there. I used to get me the Big Ray all the time. The garbage burrito.
Yeah,
home of the garbage burrito.
Me and my brother used to get that garbage burrito because that's what we could afford. You know, we stopped there, you know, catch the bus across the street on taking that 40 down at King Boulevard at the time, and that was the stop. Plus, I got partners that used to live in the 40s, and we'd be around it. Yeah, El Rey's, man. I heard his song, too.
Yeah, I used to shoot dice with a lot of them brothers down there, man. You know, so L.A., when I came, I'll tell you the truth, when I came out here, the thing about L.A., what I learned, and it might be kind of crazy, but it was like the brothers was about coming up, you know, when I first came out. This before they put the crack out here, you know, and it seemed like they put that out to slow the brothers down, because brothers was, the dirt that was being done from when I came here was being done outside your hood. I mean, we would go to the Valley, we would go to Beverly Hills, we going somewhere else, you know, but once they put the crack out, it seemed like all of what was happening now was concentrated on in your own community. You know, now I don't know if that was strategic or that's just the way it ended up, but I really noticed that, you know. So I noticed certain neighborhoods had pickpockets, dippers, you know, smash and grab, you know, licks, you know, certain things we used to do. You know, me and my crew used to do, but you know, it just switched. Once the crack came out, it seemed like everything now was, you know, was being perpetrated upon yourself, you know?
You know what, I remember that era, and my uncles then, you know, they were, you know, into hustling more, you know, robbing trains, you know, the trains that leave on the track, they was breaking into shit, they was hustling more. But you're right, it feel like the ghetto turned internally on itself, because we were selling dope to each other, you know, you're right, I remember that time, yeah. Let's keep it moving. Let me ask you a question, okay. What kind of kid were you?
What kind of kid?
Yeah.
Like you saying, like before teenage or as a teenager?
As a kid, you know, what kind of kid were you? Because, you know, with those travels, you know, they develop us. You know, if you could flash back and say, okay, you know, because we weren't always who we were, you know.
Well, I was an abused kid. I gotta say that. So I wasn't necessarily the nicest kid as far as, you know, dealing with other kids. If I had a problem with them, you know, I would fight a lot. You know, I got in trouble in school. I like to play though, and me and my friends, you know, I was always physical. I like to play football. I like to climb on roofs, jump. I had a friend named Donnie, and we do death-defying stuff as kids. You know, I think that's why my knees messed up now. You know, but we would, you know, we would do a lot of stuff like that. So I like to have fun. You know, I end up, you know, as a real young child, I started smoking weed. You know, when I was probably like 13, I avoided. I remember I used to find weed and I'd show it to my sisters and flush it down the toilet bowl or something because I thought it was bad. But then once I hit about 13, I ended up being in a group called the Jays in Baltimore. So I smoked a lot of weed, played sports.
It blanked out a little bit, brother. What did you say your group was called?
The Jays. Because we smoked, you know, we smoked J's like weed, like the J, J-A-Y-S.
That's what and we used to call them J's. Let's smoke a J. Yeah.
Yeah. So we was in Baltimore then, and it ended up being everybody all of a sudden with the Miller High Lights, the brews, the joints. Everybody wanted to come up with something to get high. So like a lot of that came out late about smoking weed. We literally, I used to sit in front of radios that I had got from hitting licks. You could record the vocal on one side and you could have the music on the other side. We would sit in front of the radio and crack jokes and do stuff, and we'd have one tape and we would circulate it, you know, until a hater would tear it up or come up missing or something. That's what we would do, you know, we would say. So, you know, my childhood.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just, you know, I hate to cut you off, but so you're saying you bring it back to the double cassette, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
it's the double cassette deck. You could pause, mix, and whatnot. So back to your childhood.
Yeah, so that was pretty much Baltimore's. LA was football, playing football on the lawns. You know, we playing football on the lawns, go play baseball. We go play other neighborhoods for football. Arcade. I remember I used to love going to the arcade, playing pinball. You know, my childhood was better out here because I didn't have the abuse out here. So, because when I came out here, I was with my mother. My mother had ran away from my father because he was abusive. And then a few years later, she called me and I ended up coming to California. So once I got here, I can say that a lot of the abuse and violence at that point, you know, that I was used to, it turned to a different type of violence out here. But as far as from being from the family on family, you know, that kind of changed once I got to LA. So it was more, you know, I'm with my mother now, but then I had to deal with the gang situation, you know.
Yeah, that's a different animal. I grew up in LA. I know what you're talking about. Let's go back though to your parents. I mean, what kind of parents were you that you have, you know, or do you have, you know?
Oh, my father, you know, he was military, man. He had been in the war. Actually, all of my uncles, you know, because I'm an older cat, so a lot of them had came out of World War II or either the Korean War. One of them, they'd been in the soldier, and a lot of them was just like today. A lot of them come out of those wars, and they got mental issues. They got problems. My father actually had a plate in his head, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't take too much for him to go off. And when he go off, he beat everybody, the dog, the cat, the mama, the daddy, he beating everybody ass, you know? So he was pretty, but at the same note, my father was he'd take us to play baseball, he did shit with us and some, you know, a lot of fun stuff with us. So out of all of my family, I think a lot of people kind of hated him, and I got older, I still didn't hate him or nothing. I understood why he did what he did. I know it was wrong, but I knew he had some mental stuff going on, and he came from a different era. So he wanted to see us succeed and be great and do this and do that. So he was really hard on us. That was the era when you could, you know, whip your kid's ass, but he took it to the extreme. My mother, you know, they both was workers too, so they had jobs. You know, my mother and my father worked. I just remember my mother left when I was like, before I was 12 years old. The main thing I remember about my mother was cooking. I remember roast beef, mashed potatoes, and cakes, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, it's not too much as far as in New York before she left. And then after she left, I just always remember her being a worker, just working, a hustler. You know, she ended up having a thrift store on King and, out here on King and, off of Dinker, called Mabel's Bargain Boutique. We go to the thrift stores, she'd buy stuff or auctions and buy stuff and sell it and resell it. So that was my mom. My mom was a hustler, and you know, so I got it in me. My dad was a hustler. They worked, but they still hustled. You know, that's the same with me to this day.
Nice. Well, you know, I want to go back to your father and you know, with the plate in his head. You know, my father had a plate in his head. He was, you know, he wasn't from the service. He had been, you know, he was into the street stuff, and some kind of karma stuff came back to him, and he had a hair stinger trigger that he snapped quick because he wasn't playing with nobody. So, and he was quick to, you know, get violent with anybody after he had that plate in his head. So I could relate to it. I mean, yeah, I could relate to that. But you sound well adjusted, and I love that you're not, blaming him. You understood him, man. That shows a lot of growth. Because a lot of people want to just see the bad in people, but not understanding what the cause and effect was. So I appreciate. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, let me see what we had here, because that right there was that. I felt that. That was that was deep. I appreciate you real sharing. Now I'm looking at these questions now. And say, okay, now we're going back to music.
Okay.
Okay. So, what age did you decide to say, hey, man, I want to start spitting. I want to start rhyming. When did that happen?
If I'm correct, I was about 12, and I got an album called Evolution of a Man. And if you look on that album cover, it's a young man standing on top of a car. That symbolized. When I was 12, maybe right before 13, my brother had came to Baltimore. Now, I ran away from New York. My brother comes to Baltimore from New York. So he knew about rapping. I left maybe right before the rap shit cracked off. So he was across the street standing on my grandfather's truck rapping. I'm sitting with this young lady, and I was like, what is he doing? And she like, what is he doing? But people was gathering around. So we walk over there to see what my brother's doing, and he's doing some... I'm not the Al Capone on the microphone. I'm not the Clark Gable on the turntable. He's doing some real old school rhymes, and I'm like, wow, I was blown away. So when he finished, he get down, and I'm like, man, what was that? He said, that's rapping. That's what we doing in New York. So before he went back to New York, I got him to keep saying his raps, keep saying his raps, keep saying his raps. So by the time he left, I knew his raps. So when he left, now I'm walking down the street, I'm saying my brother's stuff, and it eventually led to me starting to write my own stuff and everything. So I started at about 12 or 13 years old, and my brother, DJ Flame from the Chaos Crew, was my inspiration.
Nice. Now, you know what? Let's back it up one more time. I should have asked you that before, too. Siblings, what do you got? Brothers, sisters? I heard you mention your sister. I heard you mention your brother. What do you got?
I got some half brothers and half sisters, but my straight up, I have, let me see, I got Morva, that's my sister older than me. Oh, I'm the youngest. So I got Morva, Jackie, Diane, and Dolores. That's my sisters, and my brother, Douglas, or they call him Whisper in LA. So that's my family. So I got, what was that, 5?
Yeah, sounds like 5 to me.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
okay, cool. So, he was your influence. Now, after that, you're 12. You hear that. You got the bug. Who was the next artist you heard through the radio or whatnot to keep you going?
Late on that year, or that summer after that, because that was Memorial Day. So when that summer came around, I was in the house, and a lot of brothers come knocking on my door like, man, your brother on the radio. Your brother's on the radio. And I run out there and hear the radio, and it was Rapper's Life. So that was like that was the first rap song I heard. They thought it was my brother. I'm like, no, that's not my brother. So that was, obviously that was influential to everybody, because, it's not as far as trying to learn how to rap, but just saying that raps. So you got to think, this was a whole different age. Wasn't nobody thinking about, I did it because my brother did it, which is, little brother copies big brother type thing. But back then, people weren't really that much thinking about doing it. Eventually went to that, because like I said, it was a whole different era. If you trying to record or something back then, it was probably pretty much impossible, especially if it was pouring in the ghetto.
Yeah.
So, but along the lines of influence, I've been influenced, man, from so many people up until this day. So I can say from my brother all the way to this day, modern cats influence me, So I try to stay in tune with what's going on. I don't want to keep on doing what I was doing in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, or the 2000s. I want to keep evolving and elevating, So I'm constantly being influenced by a wide array of different artists. Some of them not even in rap, but they still inspire me and motivate me.
So when did you take yourself serious and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do? This is what I do now.
Let me see. I guess I think maybe around, I had a friend named Wiz Wonder. He started Black Forest, and he had a lot to do with LA hip hop too. And Wiz was good at technical stuff. I eventually got, pretty good at the stuff. But once I got out in the LA, and he had heard my brother, so my brother also had, I ended up leaving Baltimore, coming to LA, and my brother was out here. I think he came here before me to live with my mother. So by that point, he had a mixer and turntables, and so he was always rapping. And my friend Wiz He's a white guy. He looks like Rick Rubin. If I can show you some pictures, like a young Rick Rubin. He liked it. So he had got turntables, records. He started getting some. He started producing. So when me and him, we was the Boulevard crew. We grew up on Brooklyn Boulevard. You hear DJ Quicksand. Quick was on the other side of Browning, and we on this side of Browning. We was before him, but he ended up. I heard him years later say Browning Boulevard, so I know what was going on with that. But he kind of got more serious about it because now it's okay. Now you rapping with beats. You got a producer, somebody that you're working with. So once me and him started putting out tapes, people started liking it, and we going around getting at parties. Then I ended up getting a DJ, Cool Cut and Chip, so we had a thing then. We went around rocking the parties, and back then, honestly, it was mostly just freestyle, to tell you the truth, too. I think I freestyled better back then, because he just played the beats, and it was him singing, just making people get up and dance, have a good time,
So how old were you?
Back then, when me and Chip on our thing, maybe, I'm thinking about 17, 18, something like that.
When you did your first recording?
I did my first recording probably around the same age, maybe a little young. Well, so actually I did recording before then. It was directly into a radio though. That's when I was with the Jays. I think I mentioned them earlier. We would set a boom box, which I hit a lick for. That was one of the things I used to do, hit a lick for radio, TVs and stuff like that. So I went back east and I had all these fancy clothes, all these boom boxes. So we would just sit the boom box right there and hold the pause and record, hit the button and, start talking. So that was the first recordings I made was through that type of device.
Okay. So if somebody asks you, how would you describe your style? How would you?
All over the place, man. I don't want to be confined. I don't want to be, categorized. Some people say that's what hurts me because people can't say, oh, he's a gangster rapper. Oh, he's a positive rapper. Oh, he's he's talking about the girls. He's a lover. He's a this. But life is diverse. So I think I got the right to speak about anything I've experienced. And actually at this point, even if I ain't experienced, because now the game has changed. It's entertainment now. So I used to get mad at somebody for speaking on something like they ain't been through it, they don't understand it, so why should they speak on it? But this day and age has changed. So my style, I think, is real diverse. It's real diverse. You can go get something from me, and you might think I'm a hardcore gangster, but it's just me talking about parts of my life I lived. And you might get something, my Suicide Note album, and that's strictly dedicated talking about suicide prevention, and it's focused strictly on that. So it's a conceptual album. So I do a little bit of everything. I sent you the tune earlier, which is me just tripping out, trying to do some jazzy Dixieland, crazy stuff. So I do everything, man. I don't try to classify myself. I think what's most important with me with my music is the message I'm trying to, with any music. I like the message. Yeah. I like the message more than the beat, more than the music and anything. I'd be like, well, what are they saying?
Well, I can say I heard 4 of your songs, and they all are diverse. They do, this one's about this, and one thing I love about you is that you always got a topic. You're on a topic, and you got something, you're saying something that, I'll be proud to play for people like, listen to this. When I play it for them, they're, oh, okay, that was deep. I mean, I gotta mention this one so I don't forget, the Prison for Profit song. And if you haven't heard it, fans, go back to F.U.L.Podcast, and we did an episode on Prison for Profit, and we used Imp's song, and he coined it. I mean, he just hammer on the head. It was just what we wanted to open up dialogue about, and he was right in lane with us, and it was great song. I love that. And topics. Let's address some of these social issues. So let me move on with you. And right now, Amp, let's just play one of these songs, all right?
Yes, sir. Let's get it going.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah. Look, hear my story before you judge me. You can sentence me, cause ain't nobody love me. All I ask is somebody try to say to kids, cause they going through hell, so they dying to live. Hear my story before you judge me. You can sentence me, cause ain't nobody love me. All I ask is somebody try to say to kids, cause they going through hell, so they dying to live. I was 12 and ran away. I was fucked up and I knew Dad was gonna fuck me up. Left New York for Maryland State.
I ain't talking about college, I'm talking about the home with the white.
Grandpa house was full of vets.
Yeah, they admitted the war too. You know, same shit.
Thunderbird and cigarettes.
Trying to take away the pain and smoke, secondhand smoke, and we're killing it.
Heroin deals and teenage sex.
Yeah, heroin, you know, heroin city, you know what's up.
Volume pills and violent threats.
Popping pills. Household, fucking violence.
Cough, serpent, hashish. Stabbing, shootings, and police.
All classics, keeping it real, y'all.
Hear my story before you judge me, judge me. You can sense me, cause ain't nobody love me, love me. All I ask is somebody try to say that.
Now, I like that. Hear my story. Hear my story, man. I like that, man. And I've actually got the lyric sheet here, man. I appreciate you sending me this. Let's go into verse 1, man. I mean, if you could recall it, I'm looking at it too. If you want to, can you explain what you were thinking about, or rather, what makes you be so open about your life? You know?
I guess that beat made me do that. I guess the track. I blame it on the track, man. I blame it on the track. And one thing about that song. That's one song that I feel real funny. I usually can play anything around anybody, and it's cool. But it's something about that when I play it, and I'm actually there when people are listening to it. I feel real funny, and I think it's because it is so personal, you know. And the whole thing was, if that song is supposed to have a message, I just trying to say that, you know, some of us go through all of this. So do you expect us to come out of this shit normal? You know, if we go on through all of this stuff and I know everybody goes through stuff, but I just think some of the stuff that some of us go through is a bit extreme. And for the general public or everybody to just think we're supposed to come out of this squeak clean, angel, and normal, it's crazy. You know, so it's deeper than I'm a product of my environment. You know what I'm trying to say here, but it's similar to that, but I think it's a lot deeper than that.
It's layers. It's deeper layers to the game. You know what I mean? What they say, different levels to this shit. There's different levels to it. You know, just being a part of, say for instance, an environment is changing you. That's outside. But what about when it's inside your house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the deep. Man, the hook. I love it. The hook's great, and it's deep.
And what I had mentioned earlier, and you just said it too, and that's what I was saying is from my transition from New York to Baltimore, a lot of the violence, I mean, it was always violence outside too, but it was mostly, in my case, on the East Coast, it was mostly within the household. Once out here, it was mostly outside the household, you know. So I was like, damn, you know, it's you know, it's still here, you know.
Yeah, you know, so don't be judging me when I'm a little edgy and snappy. Hey, you know, I've been conditioned, a little roughed up a little bit, you know. You know, I mean, I love it. Now, let me ask you a question. Love that song, and people, you need to go check out the other one, Foolish, too. Let me ask you this question first. Who does your production?
You know what? The Foolish track, my son did that. Creepy Fingers did that one. The Foolish track. Yeah.
Love it. Tell him I love it.
Man, I'm mad at him. I'm so mad at him now because he's so talented as far as producing and rapping and stuff, but he threw in the towel because he said, if we don't know nobody, Dad, we'll never make it. He said, it's who you know, not what you know. He said, we don't know nobody. He has maybe on my website, byanymediamusic.com, he has at least 8 albums on there. You know what I'm saying? So, and he had universal appeal. He was young, he was prettier, handsome, or whatever you want to call it. So he had skills and everything. And so, you know, that we still get into it. We recently got into it maybe about a month and a half ago. You know, because he told me he was coming back, he was going to do it, then he switched up again, and I ain't going to do it. So, you know, that had fucked my nerves. But, yeah, he did the Foolish track. The other one, I go to SoundClick and I download a lot of beats now. So I'll buy them off the internet, or if I just want to make a mixtape, I'll just download them and do what I'm going to do. But if I really, really like it, like that, Hear My Story, I supposed to went to the studio, I never did it. I bought the beat. So you heard a demo of it. That was done in my house. So I wanted to go to the studio and actually do it so I can get mixed, because that music was just so orchestral. You know, it was. I really liked that whole track, and I really wanted people to feel it when they played it.
Okay, let me take you back to Foolish. I heard on the second verse, you said you battled Eminem. You battled Eminem, huh?
Yeah. I battled Eminem 2 rounds in the 1997 Rap Olympics. I believe that was at a place called the Proud Bird somewhere in Los Angeles. And that came about. Yeah, that came about. I remember sitting at the Project Low one night, and all these rappers came through there from the East Coast and was talking about battling going down. So I was spitting, and I didn't have nothing to do with the contest. I was spitting, and they was like, whoa, damn, he ain't even in the shit. I'm like, yeah, ain't none of them guys here right now, But I ended up going to the battle that night, and they kept calling somebody, going once, going twice, so they was gonna skip somebody. So I said, fuck it, here I am. So I got in that, illegally to begin with. I wasn't supposed to be in it. So I beat about 3-4 people, and then I battled Eminem. I beat him, and they sent me to the finals. And I've told the story many times. I beat him, they sent me to the finals. Me and this guy named Otherwise was the final contestants. Me and him was ready to battle. This lady her name is Wendy Day. She's real popular if you look up, and she helps out a lot of rap, so I ain't knocking or nothing. But she was a little disgruntled at me beating Eminem. She said I went to the race card or whatever, but through her strings she got us to battle again. So now they declared him to win up the other round. So he ended up going to the finals. So that's how that happened. So the reason
that's a story to tell a grandkid. You beat him first time, and y'all had to go to the second round, and he won that time. Wow.
But wasn't a third round, so that's crazy, huh?
Wasn't a third. Tie should be a tie, right? 1-on-1, and let's go to the third round.
Yeah, so it's kind of part of my motivation. I know it's not me trying to just constantly capitalize, because I don't do it like from that perspective, but it's just something in me that says, okay, if people are saying this guy's the greatest rapper ever, arguably, you see it a lot. Some people say, oh, Eminem's the best, Tupac, Biggie, whoever, so by people saying that, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better, because I say, if they say he's the best ever and I beat him, then where do I stand?
Exactly. Well, I'm going to ask you this right. I wasn't going to ask you until the end. What keeps you motivated, man? I mean, how long have you been doing this, and what keeps you motivated?
I've been rapping, man, I'm 52 now. And I started rapping when I was 12, so I've been rapping 40 years, man.
I love that. 40 years, nice.
Yeah, nice. I've been rapping, and motivation is life. That's just like you said. If I don't, and it hurts sometimes when I don't have the ability to do it. When I want to do it, but circumstances, either work and this, that, the other. You can't turn your music up. Your neighbor hitting on the wall. You're too loud. So I would love to. I mean, I just love doing it. I love doing it. I think it's me giving messages. Sometimes it's the diversity. Sometimes it's something fun I want to do. Sometimes I'm inspired by some beautiful women. Sometimes I'm inspired by injustice or whatever it may be. So it's always something that makes me say, hey, I want to write a song. I felt so bad.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was ready to say I felt so bad about that Meek Mill's and Dress thing going on, man. I started writing something yesterday, like kind of hitting both of them with some bars.
Why not? Let me tell you something to make you feel a little better, right? I'm 48, right? Mm-hmm. And once this is in your bones, it's a sickness. I can't let go. I mean, if you listen to this show, that's me. I did the song. I made the track. I said the song that I had, and for me to get off 8, I feel like, well, okay, I still got something in the tank. So, hey, keep going, brother. We support you at F.U.L.Podcast. Keep going, man.
Yeah, and then you got to think this too. We got into it. A lot of older people got into it for a total different reason. We got into it for the love of it. So, we enjoyed it. We loved it. Now you got people, it's solely based on money. So to get in there solely with I'm gonna make some money. So our passion is different than their passion. Their passion is driven by the money and stuff. Once it turned into a business, we all wanted to make some money from it, but that wasn't our initial reason for getting in this music. So that's why we gonna always do it. And I would tell any old school artist, don't stop rhyming. I mean, if you creative and you feel like doing your thing, do your thing. One man trash, another man trash. So somebody say, that's garbage, and the next person might come along, man, this is exactly what I've been looking for. So I tell all the old school artists, don't let them drive you out the game. The industry try to do it. The young kids try to do it. Not all of them. Some of them appreciate the old school artists, but they ain't driving me out. They can do whatever they want to do, but I'm okay, let's spit then. That'll sell it all.
I don't have to even encourage you, but I'll just say this for the record. you're still fire. You know, you fire. You're still on point. I mean, so don't quit. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the words, it's just the words that just I can't let go. Every so often, I mean, I could be at work or wherever I'm at, and you know, two words, just hear a new word, I'm like, I know what rhymes with that in my head, like, you know. And then when I listen, then I still critique rap, you know, like that dude went out easy. That was, you know, he could have rhymed something a little better than that, you know. Went out, he wasted a line there, you know. So yeah, the shit's in your zone, it's in your bones, and as long as, you know, rap's conversation, right? It's just vocal. It's vocal. Now, if you can't talk, that's one thing, but we're still talking. We're talking to rhythms. That's it. So as long as you can talk, stay on point, you know, keep your subject matter, and you know, stay on beat. Hey, keep doing it. Hey, so let's. So what would you like to see just change in this industry, man?
Well, I like to see more platforms like what you're doing right now. I like to see more platforms with people reaching to the independent artists and giving them exposure on radio and stuff like that, because that is what can make the difference between awareness of an artist, you know, because we're out here. Every type of music is out here. It's just not having no venue or vehicle like the radio or something to put it out there, or you know, infrastructure, the money, you know, the industry, somebody co-signing. So I think people, the fans, I would like to see the fans change, dig a little deeper. One of my frustrations is the industry is being reinvented, basically. We went from, okay, it's going to be an independent game, you'll be able to sell your music, you'll do this, you'll do that, but people are still making these new infrastructures, the new industry, Facebook, Twitter, and all of that. Why? I'm always thinking, I got my own website. Why don't you go directly to me? Why you got to go there? Why do I got to go through why do I have to have all of this set up if I got my website set up and you can go directly to me? So the people of the industry is going to lose the pot because they got that, they had that, like I said, the word was infrastructure. They got that money to market and promote and say, this is what's happening. And the people are still zombies. They're gonna follow that and say, no, this is what we're gonna do. If you ain't part of this, you should not be cracking. A hot song, to me, a hot song is a hot song, you know. So I'd like to see people.
The game. If you ain't playing the way the game is designed right now, I mean, it's artists that are out there. They don't have their Twitter and their Instagram on point. They're not getting the look they should get. You're right.
Yeah, I think any artist, if you like that artist, you should be able to go to. I say, okay, I like James Sims. I'm going to JamesSims.com and I'm going to buy his music. You know, that's James. I'm going directly to James because that's the way they said it's supposed to be, where you can buy directly from the artist, independent. But all of that extra, I got to go to iTunes. I feel more comfortable buying it on iTunes or whatever it may be. So it's a lot more, you know, to see more, you know, even on the radio, the music they're playing, they don't give a break. But man, come on, switch it up a little bit. Same stuff. And it's the same. It's the same. When I heard you mention the guy earlier, was it Max? Max, I know
Reno.
Yeah, he said he got the name from the cowboy or whatever. But I heard him saying something that we were saying 15 years ago. He said, you're talking about stuff I can't relate to. My Evolution of a Man. Loud was on it saying the same thing. I can't relate to that. We did that in 1989. It's just, so what's changed? What's changed? There's so much stuff. What's changed? I seen Scarface. What's changed with them killing us and doing certain things like that? So a lot of stuff, it ain't changing. So it's like to see change, man. It's supposed to be evolved. You're supposed to evolve. So I like to see the game evolve and be more open and more resources, you know, like radio and stuff to the independent artists.
Yeah, we need that too. Let me ask you a question. If you got something else to say, go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead.
I was saying, especially from DJs, you know, and I like all of them, Big Boy and all of that, but I know they don't really have that control to say, I want to do this. But damn, come on, can y'all give us 2 hours out of the day? Can you give us something? You know, to play our music. I know for sure I got some hot songs. If they got 23, what the Power got, or these new radios, they got 20-something million listeners a week. So if you take the worst case scenario and have 2 or 5% out of those people buy your music, 2 or 5% of 20-something million go to my website and buy my record, I'll be cool.
Well,
you know?
Let me ask you a question. You're on the West Coast, and I'm on the West Coast. What do you think's wrong with the West Coast infrastructure? I mean, it's a lot of talent out there, and I'm sure you know a lot like I do. What do you think's the problem? Why so many of these talented artists just can't get out?
Well, part of it, and I'm gonna say this now too. When you said that, I'm gonna say this because it's so true. I can't put the full blame on the industry. A lot of the blame lies on us as artists, not supporting each other, not having patience enough to say. For instance, I live in Palmdale, and I was telling the guy there, it was maybe 5 or 6 people that was like me, that was really go hard about it, was passionate about it, this, that, and the other. And I tried to put a organization together and say, man, look, why don't we do it like this? You guys put your record out, this 2 weeks. And everybody, that's all we're going to talk about. We're going to go to your show. We're going to support the next 2 weeks. They can't do that. So we have to understand that. I saw somebody today said it's almost like a book. He said everybody's on Facebook saying, buy my album, buy my album. So it's like we're not even supporting each other. So it's timing. It's the same thing what's going on in the community with the money while we killing each other over money and stuff. But if you look at it, everybody else is taking all the money out of the neighborhood just for the fact that we can't come together and say, look, if we do it like this, we won't even have to sell no damn drugs. We won't have to do this. We won't have to do that. If we do it like this, okay, your record, we can set a schedule. Everybody can sell their record. So part of the West Coast problem as far as independent artists is just having some type of organization and schedule releases. That's what I can say. Schedule releases. And it don't take much. If you got 100 people.
Let me cut you off real quick. So what you're saying is that if we had some kind of unification that, one artist, we say, okay, they're being released in all teams, let's all push behind it and support it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Then the next artist, right?
Yeah, and support the shows. Support the shows and everything. Because guess what? Because now they're going to come and support you. But what we do is we all get in one place and have 50 acts that night. And 5, if somebody's lucky, they'll have 20 people, but the average person has 2 to 3 people that came to see them, and they'll watch that person perform, and then they leave. They don't even appreciate hip-hop no more. They're there just to support their artist. They don't care if you good or not. I'm here to see my homeboy. I'm here to see my daughter. I'm here to see my, my whatever, and then they walk off.
Yeah, they won't clap for the other guy because I'm waiting on my homeboy to come on.
Yeah. So that's hip-hop now.
Yeah, that's it. Well, let me ask you a question, Imp. What would you, any advice you would have for new artists coming up right now?
Any advice for new artists? I guess it would be to try to, like I just said, try to form some type of union or thing where you guys have a structured release date and where everybody's going to support everybody. We can't do it by ourselves. We can get out here all we want, and sometimes I've had people tell me, you use that as a crutch. You're saying you ain't got no team or you ain't got this. And I tell them, okay, well, you saw me, you got few people in this world that made it on their own, that been successful, especially in this music. When you look at everybody who's been successful, and you tell me who made it by themselves, who ain't have a team, who didn't have a team.
Shit, I can't think of one, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the guys who did it independent.
Yeah, it's a team. Independent, yeah, you need a lot of...
This is what they fail to realize. And the young people they're gassed up. They feel like the mentality of the young people right now is, if you're old, especially if you're older than them, is you need me. You need me. And they feel like, like fuck you if you help me, fuck you if you don't, because you need me. Without me, you ain't gonna do this. But we provide everything for them. We provide the style. We provide the inspiration. We provide the entry to the game, the knowledge, the teachings, the this, the that, and then they get to the point where they feel like, okay, he is a rap with him, or he ain't gonna never be nothing. So it's just a mentality change. I like to see a mentality change, more respect, Well,
yeah, the young artists, they have, it's their time, some of them. Some of them they have their finger on the pulse, right? But there's more to it, just to be saying that, you got the swag of this moment. But it takes more. It takes more than that. Let me ask you a question. What artist would you like to collab with, dead or alive?
What artist would I like to collab with? Just offhand, without putting too much thought in, I'd probably say Nas. Yeah.
No. Godson. Oh shit, that'll be a good song, y'all. Definitely, of course, you'll be inspired because Godson finna go in.
Mm-hmm. I like definitely.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Anybody else?
Shit, I'd say Dr. Dre as far as, as far as I've never had, I'm going to tell you the truth, I've never really had a serious producer sit down with me and work on something. So everything that I've done until this point, for the most part, has been driven by my passion, my dollars, my ambition, So I really would like to sit somewhere sometime with someone who has more experience than me, who has knowledge, who got something to say, let's do a project. Even if it's just 3 damn songs, something that's really, because like I said, when you listen to anything I've done, it's pretty much driven by my motivation, my money, my ambition and everything. And I've never had, the opportunity to sit down with a real producer. So I would rather sit with a producer than an artist. So I would rather work with a real producer than an artist. Nas is great and everything. I would love to work with him, but if I had an opportunity to say, you can work with Timbaland, Dr. Dre, Pharrell, Nas, Ice Cube, or Snoop Dogg, what do you want? I'm going with one of them producers.
I'm going to tell you, you made a great point. A lot of people don't understand that rapping on beats is one thing, but being produced, it makes a difference, because a good producer can say, okay, I can take your average rap, if you got an average rap, and make it a hot song. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he know how to bring the dynamics in it, the breaks, and, tell you, okay, flip that style right there. So you're right. Producers are underrated, and that would be a great choice to work with a good producer that knows music. Imp, I hear that you got a workshop, man. Can you tell F.U.L. fans about it?
Oh, yeah. I'm starting something. It's called, I got it written down. It's still in development, but it's called LA Trendsetters. And its motto is, yes, I am. And that's young, young, educated, it has something. But anyway, the whole bottom line of it is, what I'm doing is I'm putting a workshop together where we're going to develop and produce, up-and-coming artists, whether they want to be on the stage or behind the scenes, whether it's stage production, video editing, photos, writing, producing, and we're going to work every Thursday. I get my event Thursday, and on the final Thursday of the month, we're going to actually have the performance. Part of this, to be involved in this, you're going to have to either be in school, a recent graduate, or have a job. If you don't have those things, then I'm going to have some type of, back to the word infrastructure, some type of infrastructure where we can direct you or point you to go do that. Because if you're coming to see me once every Thursday, then what are you doing all these rest of these days? So I want to be sure that you're being productive in society and you're just not doing that on Thursdays, So I got some guidelines and stuff. But like I say, it's going to be more so the trend-setting part of it is we want people to be innovative and creative and come with some new stuff. We're going to focus on the music, the fashion, the dance, the hairstyle, and then we're going to instill, some morals in them, some professionalism, some manners, so you just can't be around me, thinking you're going to be talking anyway, doing what you want to do. So if they can't be respectful, then they can't do with it. And it's going to be held at Dockweiler Beach at the Dockweiler Youth Center. I may start this Thursday, but I still have to go through a couple of more things. I'm already locked in to do it, but either it's going to start this Thursday coming up or the following Thursday. And I definitely want to invite you down to come down and be a mentor and talk to the kids sometime, possibly interview the artists, because I think what you're doing is a great thing, and I appreciate you supporting my music and interviewing me and everything you've ever done and being an artist and everything.
Well, no, first of all, thank you, sir. And, I'm going to tell you, Imp, we definitely support it, and I'm going to come down there. But the question I have for you is the information going to be updated on your site? You're going to let us know when you start and the times and stuff like that on your site, your website?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up on a few things. I need a staff, so that's part of the thing, like as far as interns. So I'm gonna put it on the Facebook. I have a website. I'm gonna put a form on where people can fill out the form. So I'm gonna have multiple ways that people can reach me. I'm not gonna put my phone number on it, but I'm gonna put a lot of different email me, do this, and once they break the ice and contact me, then I'll give them my phone number so we can talk. But I'm gonna have a form on my website that they can fill out. And that way I kind of know who I'm dealing with, what aspect of what I'm doing are they interested in. Are they a performer? Do they want to be a video editor? Do they want to just be an assistant? Or what do they want to do? And then, like I said, I basically want to take every Thursday and work and produce and develop. And then on that final Thursday of the month, come on down, y'all. We got a venue down there that's 185 people. It's a relatively new building. It's right on the beach. I had bought me some beautiful $3,000 speakers, so I got a beautiful sound system. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, and that's part of me. You know, like we said, as artists, we want to get out there and do our thing. You know, this is more so for them. I might get up there every now and then, but for the most part, I'm playing the background, just providing a workshop to help educate and help, you know, so they can rehearse and get their stuff together.
Nice. Now, Imp, since you're speaking on what you got going, and I want everybody to be updated, so, you know, let us know where we can, you know, reach you everywhere via social media. You know.
Well, my Facebook is Imp Fans Only, IMP, FANSONLY, Imp Fans Only, or my name. You can look me up, Stephen Laws. My website, my official website, that's the main way to contact me, is by anymeansmusic.com, and my email is BAMCEO, BAMMCEO @yahoo.com. So that's 3 ways to reach me. If you can't reach me like that, then hit my man James up, and maybe he can get you in contact with me.
Oh, no problem. I definitely will, you know, just funnel them right to you. Listen, F.U.L. fams, this has been a great interview with the Imperator, Stephen Laws. This is Artist Insight. It's been a great interview, and I really appreciate you, Imp, and we'll be talking soon.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you once again, your support and your love, and everybody tune in and check out this podcast, and I'll post it everywhere where I can post it. Signing out. Bam.
Artist Insight. Yeah. An insight with an artist. We want to go in depth. My name is James. We want to know what's up. Your humble hope. My name is James.
Artist in sight of an artist. Let's trace the steps, go in depth where it started. Moms play blues, pops play jazz. You sang in the choir, discovered your craft. You heard Rakim, or was it Lil Wayne? Deftones, what sparked your flames? Piano lessons, bass and guitar. You loved English in school, now you got bars. You used to DJ, but now you produce tracks. Some suckers flat, how you feel about that? Artist in sight was simply designed. We wanna know what's on your mind.
Come on. Anyway.
Yeah, talk.
It's an interview for you. Tell us something new. You know?
Talk to us.
Inside of an artist. Artist inside. Talk to us. Talk back.